What's up, guys? It's another early Saturday morning. We're gonna try to get some work done today. One thing we're gonna do, we're gonna try to get the collectors positioned on the race car. We got some material in this week. Got some 45s. I also ordered some 60s because I wasn't sure what angle we was gonna need, but I think the 45s are gonna do it. As you know, we're coming off the Streetcar Fabrication billet merge here. This was the OG merge that he made. First one to come off the machine, and it had a big nick in it on the back side where he got a little aggressive on his feed, I think, and he sent it to us because I told him just don't worry about it, that I'd fix it. So I put some filler rod in there and buffed it up with the sanding wheel, and then one of the little buffer pads, and you can't even tell it ever happened. So worked out good for us, and he was able to still get a little bit of money out of a messed up part. So we're gonna set the camera up on the time lapse and try to get these things mocked up, and then we might weld some aluminum at the end of this video. I know I do a lot of aluminum welding videos and stuff, but over here we've got a air to water intercooler, one like on Lauren's car that we're doing for a customer. We've got a large fuel cell for the F body. We've got a small universal fuel cell. It's getting a big number 20 feed. We don't have the tanks yet for this intercooler. They're already cut, but they're not bent. So I'm gonna try to get some of this stuff done today, along with working on the race car. Even though I don't put much time into the race car here lately because we've been so busy, some progress is still progress. So if it's not but a half hour worth of work before I start doing other work, it's still moving forward, and that's enough to satisfy me at this point. So here we go. All right, after a super long time lapse and a lot of backing up and cutting tack welds and different things, this is what we come up with. With the engine offset, making the collectors the same height, the same pitch, kind of tough, and not make them look weird. The pipes going in from the collectors to the merge, both of them are the same, but I had to clock the small bend at the bottom. It's actually the same piece. I just cut it and had to do a little rotation on the bottom part of it to get the angle right and the entry right going in, because it's not just a straight entry. It kind of has to go like that. Both of these collectors are at 51 degrees on the angle, so both of them match. Also, I've rotated them where they're both within less than half of a degree of being level this way. So we'll get that locked in and build the header primaries to that, because I like them to look level. I guess I could rotate them like halfway, but that's going to screw up the layout of the primaries. We want them to be flat where they can go up over there. But that's why it took so long to fit it, because the engine being offset to the passenger side, trying to get them to look symmetrical is sometimes tough in any scenario. And whenever you can see this much of the engine bay, it was just going to be an eyesore if we didn't get them symmetrical. It's not so much of a big deal that the intake pipe, you can tell, you know, which way the engine is offset. It's closer on this side because, well, I take all that back. It's not necessarily because the engine is offset, it's because the merge is offset. You can see our crank center line is like here, like right over top of the passenger side pipe. So it's kind of stepped to that way. But this will be fun running the primaries. I'll probably do the passenger side first, like I spoke about in my previous video. Always do the hard side first. We'll come up here and run over top and go in right there. Try to make this curve as smooth as possible. That way they really look slick going in there. Because this one can go back and around, this one also, and then these two can come over top. So that should be a long process. It usually takes, to build any type of turbo header, I usually log about 25 or 26 hours. That's from placing the collectors to running the primaries to welding the entire things up. So we'll probably have at least that in this, if not more, just because it's going to be a little bit funny getting around everything. But pretty happy with the way that turned out. Just one more step in the long process. Always good also if you got some scrap tubing to mock up some tubing in the collectors. That'll help you get a better visual. Obviously they're not going to probably come this high, but it lets me know how the tubes are going to look going into the collectors from the front. Whatever you have to do to get a visual to help you map out what you're going to do, because the worst thing you can do is build 3/4 of your header and find out that one primary is not going to work, and then have to back up on everything. Ask me how I know. So that's all we're going to do to the car today. We're going to weld some aluminum, and that's going to be it for today. So see y'all next weekend. The video's not over. The more I look at this thing, the more I don't like that the cold pipe is offset. So I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna move this side closer because it's the tightest to this bar. This side has 4.5 inches for the primaries to come in and sweep nice, and this side only has about 2 inches to the collector. So I'm going to move this whole section over 2.5 inches to make the spacing off this cold pipe the same and make it look centered. So that's the way it goes. Start looking at things, don't like it, change it before it gets too permanent. So here we go. So we're back. Everybody meet Brandon. He comes up here and hangs out on Saturdays sometimes, and today he was the extra pair of hands I needed to get this thing mocked up. So we reconfigured the collector position. You can see now the cold pipe splits the collectors. This one's not way over there. This one was actually 2 inches further that way than this one. Just because of the offset position of the merge, the angle can be similar, but nothing can be exact side to side mirror image. It's just there's too much going on, too many differences in the way things are sitting. But I am happy with the way it looks now. You can see right through the middle we've got pretty even space on both sides. And another thing that I was having to consider, might not have mentioned, the burn down tubes is going to come out of the valve covers. So we got to have room for a 90 to come out of here and go into the valley and down the middle. So that really was a factor in how far the collectors was off the engine, their angle, and all of that. So pretty happy with it now. Very little differences between each side besides just, like I said, a couple degrees of angle on this. Ended up having to use 2 different bends on this pipe to be able to get it closer but still position the same. We're the same distance off the engine on both sides, and the collector is lined up with the fuel rails on the both sides where the edge of it is. So now that that's over, time to run some primaries the next time we bring you an update. So see y'all next time. So if you guys learned anything from this video, this weekend, learned that even the guys that do fabrication stuff every day, sometimes we still have to tear stuff apart and throw it away and start over. Didn't really have to throw any pieces of pipe away. I just had to cut and modify until I was happy with the position of the collectors. Recently, I've seen that a lot of you guys are commenting. A lot of you guys are hitting us up on Facebook saying that you follow our YouTube channel and you take a lot from our videos. It's pretty humbling that you guys would get anything out of what I'm doing. I'm more of just putting footage out there to kind of show what the shop is doing in a video, from a video standpoint, rather than just pictures without seeing how things actually come together. So I'm glad you guys are getting something out of the videos. I try to be pretty transparent, where when I screw up, I'm gonna let you know. Just like today, it was on my own car, but I do the same thing on customers' cars. If I build something and I don't like it, I tear it apart and start over. No, I don't charge the customer double time because I'm second guessing myself. And that's where a lot of people don't like to get into fabrication, because then you end up working 10 hours and charging for 3. And you can't put food on the table doing that. But fortunately for us, we've got our website and we've got several other things going that are pretty steady. So when it comes to the builds in the shop, we can take our time and backtrack if we need to. So I'll keep bringing the videos. I'll try to keep being honest with you guys and just let you know that even though we do this every day, we're still all in the same boat. The end goal is is what we're after. So however you get there, it doesn't matter. As long as the finished product satisfies the customer, it represents your work well, and it functions properly. So that's this weekend's lesson. I'm going to start stuffing cheeseburgers in my mouth. I'll spare you the footage of that. So have a good weekend, everyone.